Let's go.
Okey-doke.
So, this is what you're gonna get once you festoon, seal the dentures, make your script or your lab
Work authorization.
work authorization. This is what you're gonna get from the lab. Normally, you will get your set of dentures already finished. But for education purposes, this is what you get. And if you remember on the lecture of processing the dentures, you will remember how we talked about how everything that was in pink was going to be turned into acrylic, right?
And pink wax, yeah. Mhm.
The pink wax,
Whatever
exactly.
Wax.
Um,
Including the record base. The record base was thrown away.
include
So the
record-
fact that you blocked out the cast before, that blockout's not there now.
and this, the blockout's not there, and this is where you sealed the denture. So this is what you get. You get a bad looking or not a pretty looking set of dentures, and this video will show you how to get these ones ready. Okay. So for this project, we need your set of acrylic burrs. You need your slow speed handpiece, right? And you can also use the lathe with those big, acrylic burrs that we normally use them for the cast models. But you can also use them to do this. You can also use one of these wheels that we don't have those available, but you can use those. So let's get to work over here, okay? For this project, we really need to have glasses, mouthpieces, and really protect yourself because it's gonna be a messy one, okay?
Now let me say, when you use this lathe, I recommend you not wear gloves.
No, we're
'Cause
not.
it'll grab it.
For the late, no, we're gonna use this for the. I'm gonna take them off from the rest of it. Now, something very important before we even start doing this, I want you guys to mark and to paint what and where are the limits of this. So for that, I need a Sharpie. It's right here. And pretty much what I want to do is, I want to mark the deepest part of the vestibule, the limits of my denture, right there. Because this is the most precious part of this denture right now. This part here is where I cannot touch that, right? When you're working on this and you don't have things marked up, then it's very easy for you to mess it up. On the lower, it's the same thing. This is your functional, or this is the limits of where the denture will sit in the patient's mouth. So I want all these very well marked up. That way, when you're grinding and grinding and grinding, you know what to grind and where not to grind. Okay?
Yeah. Don't go on the intaglio side of that line.
Never go.
Stay
This
on
side.
the cameo or polished surface of the line when you're grinding.
Exactly.
What's going to be polished surface. If you go over that line, you are damaging the area you recorded with the impression.
Yes, sir. So now I'm gonna do one here, and then I'm gonna take my gloves off, and I'm gonna use another one. What kind of bird would I use for this? Well, I certainly don't need a thin, smooth burr. What I want to try to do is I want to use one of the more abrasive,
Aggressive, actually.
aggressive tools. Okay. You load that in, and the first thing you need to start doing is you grab this and pretty much start grinding this part. Now, as you grind this, you also need to be careful, and you will start cleaning the excess of wax that you left here, you will also start grinding the excess of stone that was used for the processing of the dentures. Always make sure to use proper protection. Never go past that line you wrote there, you drew there, right? And the first thing is you're just gonna do a gross cleaning. Once we get that gross cleaning, we can get into a little bit more details. Now, this gross cleaning can be done with this, or you can take off your gloves, use this one here, and just go like this. Now, it's important that you notice that you're protecting and you're holding this with both of your hands, right? And make sure you're not hitting the teeth, because now this will be an irreversible problem right here. You can use this. You can even change this burr and use one of the smaller ones that you have. I found the lathe being very comfortable because I have control of this, of the whole prosthesis, to being able to clean it. And then for the finer or more delicate work, then you can use the hand piece. Right? You can also, I will show you how you can also use this. This is my favorite one when it comes to acrylic. It just cleans this very, very well. Super fast. And it will give me a gross reduction, a gross cleanup, very fast and easy. Once I do this gross cleanup, then I go to with the handpiece. Make sure I'm getting to the inside. You see how I'm always grabbing it with both of my hands? Always grab it with both of your hands. Make sure you don't get into the intaglio of it. Now these, normally, even in the clinic, when you go for next year, you will get these dentures finished. So this is just for this time only, just to get you a little bit into the cleaning mode and see the process of fabricating a denture. Okay? We'll do the same thing with the lower. If you don't have this wheel right here, you can always use this one. And if you don't want to go to the lathe, just take your time, put some music on, and come over here.
Of course, at your station, you have suction you can use too,
Right.
so you're not making such a mess.
In this case, we have suction here. I just don't want to make too much noise. But you got your suction, where and look, if you choose the right burr, it can go very, it can go very smooth as well. You see? Make sure you got good, grip of your handpiece and good grip of the denture itself. Try not to get this burr not in the very beginning of it, more towards the very, like, dip it in to the lathe, into the handpiece. Don't put it like that because you might bend it. So just somewhere over there, and you will find you will have more force on it as well. As I'm cleaning, as I'm taking the excess of the acrylic, you will find and you will see the way you do the festooning, the way you festoon, the way you clean out the teeth. That's exactly the way you will get it. So if you did a good job on the cleaning, if you did a good job on the festooning, if you did a good job in the wax, then you will find a much more cleaner, or a cleaner model, a cleaner denture, that it will be easier for you to finish. Okay? So let me work on this.
And we also have a shell blaster in the lab up there by the window, so I'll have to look and be sure it's functional.
So with the shell blaster, what they did, or what they've been using it, not so much, but you can shell blast the rest of the stones and pretty much clean all the stone out. But for example, in this case, and I'm not pointing names again, right? But if you want to do me a close-up, Wally, this student did not clean or did not festoon very well, and you can tell that there was not a very good line between the tooth itself and the acrylic, and you will find that now it's very hard for it to find it. In this other side, I said already, huh? She did a very good definition between the wax, right, and the tooth. On this side, not so much. That look what happened. Okay? In these cases, you can always go on a very slow motion and kind of like clean the teeth out of the pink acrylic. Sometimes it's pink, sometimes it's a little bit more bluish. Remember, also when we're doing the tooth selection, we do the tooth selection and we choose the shade of the tooth, the form of the tooth, the everything, but also we need to choose or pick what color of the gums are. And if we got Afro-American people, they have this different kind of shade on the tissues, rather than we have Caucasians or other people. Okay, so it's very important to also pick and choose the shade of the pink acrylic. So I'm gonna keep working on this one, and then I will show you some tricks and tips when we're ready to polish and do the rest of the stuff. All right. Salud.
Yeah, I've started.
Yes. So as we get, I don't want to do the whole denture for this student, and what I want to do is I'm just gonna do this quadrant here. As you get closer, you can always finish up. Maybe there you will find a line where you seal the denture and where the festooning started. So what I want is I want to dissipate or difuminate or disappear that transition between, look at this transition between where you were sealing up the denture and the actual festooning of it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going from one side or the other without having or without touching that deepest part of the vestibule anymore, right? And kind of going there. If you did not use the shell blaster, you can always use a knife or any instrument that you find to try to clean the rest of the stone. Another good tip is to probably get some hot water, get a knife or get a scalpel, and just scalpel it out. Okay? You can also, with very, very, very slow speed, you can take one of these burrs, troncoconical burrs, and go very, very slow. Kind of get right there. Right where you made the transition between the tooth. Remember, you can touch the tooth a little bit. Don't worry about it, okay? This will get polished and nobody will notice. If you need to have it clean, I'd rather you touch it up a little bit and have it perfectly clean rather than not touching it at all and have it all full of stone all around, okay? So make sure, look what I'm doing. I'm going all around with this small thin burr that has kind of like like a 90-degree angle. And with that, I don't have air. Sorry about that.
And when he talks about using hot water, you don't want to put a processed denture like in that boil out tank or around boiling water. Don't make it real hot or the denture will go limp. The acrylic will.
It will, huh?
Once it's out of the flask, yeah.
Yeah. So look, I'm going very, very slow. Kind of following around, kind of like cleaning the teeth again. Sorry about that. And this is what I'm looking for. Once I get this like that, then I can use my fancy and very smooth burr, right? That will not grind a lot, but it will just pretty much smooth everything.
That's the one with a red or a yellow line on it.
Red or yellow line.
Red isn't as fine, the yellow is finer than the red.
And they also just learned that with Dr. Yu's class, where they have the fine diamond.
Mm-hmm.
They got the greens, the blacks, the reds, the yellows, and the whites. So this is a little, a finer blades because this is carbide. So this is not diamond, and the carbide has blades on it. But the finer the blades are, or the closer they are together, the finer the cut would be. Almost like a diamond burr. Sorry about that. But this is pretty much what we have. Once you get your whole denture, you see the line, the black line we have. I want you to keep having this. I don't want it disappearing, right? Because this is your periphery. Once you have everything like that, then we'll take it to the lathe and start the polishing process. Okay?
Pumice.
With pumicing process. Polishing with pumice process. All right.
Spit it out. Suffering succotash.
Let's go. Finish up cleaning that really fast. I think I'm gonna.
We're rolling.
We're rolling. All right. So when we have the denture, pretty much, I'm just doing this part here. It's nice. It's clean. You have already worked the major part of it, and it's just ready to be polished and finished. This is when we come to the big lathe, and this thing has never ending. How do you say that in
Tapered.
Tapered. In Spanish, we say that it's a never ending because it just holds this thing here.
Well, it's a screw shaped. It's tapered, right, but it's threaded.
It's a never ended threaded.
Right.
And we're gonna use two different wheels.
It's a circular inclined plane, like a screw is.
There you go. We're gonna use a wet wheel, and we're gonna use a dry wheel. Then we have here, can we move over here? We got our pumice, and it goes from more coarse, medium, fine, and flour. And we're gonna mix these ones with water to start polishing the surface. Like any other polishing method, we go from the most coarse to the most fine, and the most coarse will of course take out a little bit more of that material than the flour one. For dentures, I like to use the medium and probably the fine for this. Okay, the coarse you already did it with with your instruments, with your
burrs, yeah.
burrs, right?
That fine burr, the red and the yellow line burrs,
Probably would.
is even finer than coarse.
Yes.
Close to medium, but it's not giving you the same effect.
And then,
Unfortunately, since they didn't do any castings, they haven't had to polish gold or any other metal much.
don't go anywhere.
And might not have the feeling for that. Then if you were to use coarse and then jump to the flour or something real fine or like Sure Shine, like you're going to learn about, you would see how scratchy the surface is
Right.
when you tried to make it
So
fine.
this is
See?
pretty much sand. It's sand, let's say from Biloxi. Looks pretty sandy. You turn this on using the wet towel. Normally this has a shield. I'm taking the shield just for the video purposes. Even with the shield, you need to be protected because this will just start jumping everywhere. You turn this on. You see all the water that's coming out from here? You see? Now, what you want to do is you want to put the pumice onto the denture, like this, and then rub it up with the wet wheel. As you're doing this, you can do it towards the tooth, and you will also be polishing the tooth itself, right? You do it on the line that you drew. You see, now that Sharpie is gone, right? You go here, you go there, you go everywhere. Make sure you always use this. The wheel by itself will not polish. What it polish is the grain of your pumice. So you put more and you go. You put it and you do small. I want you to push it. Don't push it too hard, but don't push it too slow either, or too lightly. Thank you for the word.
But be careful that you don't damage the tooth, because this is actually removing acrylic.
It is.
So you got to watch you don't take off the anatomy of your teeth.
It is removing a little bit, or the anatomy of the gums that you left.
Yep.
You know? So you go a little bit, and that's pretty much as much as we're gonna go. I want to show you how it's starting to look more soft. And that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for shine here. You're looking more of a soft surface, okay? Once I change that, I'm gonna go get some water. And look at the grind of this. This is more like more like clay, not so coarse. It's so much more like flour. Okay, so it would need less water. With the same wheel, I turn it again. You can use the slow or the high. For you guys, probably slow. It's a good start. High is a little bit too intense. And what I'm going to do is, again, I put this clay on it, and I keep going. Make sure your wheel is nice, and you can even do your nails, look. And they will look nice and pretty at the end.
You must be going to dinner tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Polishing
Make
it
sure
down.
that gets edited, Dr. Wally. I don't wanna do nail polishing classes. But it is. I used to do nails before, you know. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm not spending too much time on this. And I'm like I said, I'm not looking. I'm gonna do a little bit this. I'm not looking for shine. I'm not just looking for smoothness. And this is what I'm looking for. You see it? See, Wally?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, once I have all the denture like that, from the buckle, from the palette, what about this part here, Wally?
No touch.
No, senor. Right? We never touch this intaglio because this is what we've been working on it throughout all these appointments and these many months. So we don't want to touch this intaglio portion at all because that's what Mr. Denture is going to be wearing, or that's the part that's going to be touching. Then I'm going to change, or I'm going to switch to the dry wheel. And this dry wheel, okay, we'll put it in. And we're going to use something we call sure shine.
Sure shine, yep.
A little bit of sure shine here, a little bit of sure shine here, a little bit of sure shine everywhere. And these with very light pushing. I don't want you to push it very hard because it's dry. It will burn. It will burn the acrylic. This is just for shine. I will go here. I will go on the borders. And pretty much what it's gonna give me, it's a very shine area. This is what I'm looking for. Do you see those little white sure shine extras right there? You're gonna take some hot water and a toothbrush with soap, and those are gonna go away with that. Okay? That's as much as you want to do. You don't want to do any more. You don't want to push it too hard. You want to even this one. I think if you go even on a low speed, you will get so much better results without having to burn or without burning the teeth. Okay? This is what we're looking for. We like?
Sí.
Muy bien.
Sí, señor.
So, I want everybody finishing the dentures, and all of them have to be looking like this. Next video is on making remount casts, so we can put these bad boys onto the articulator again and do the selective grinding and giving the right occlusion. Okay?